Yo guys, welcome back to another video, and as you can see, this is the trade strat. We did manage to get 448 billion, and this is the team setup we are running. So let me show you right here. We got Ainz, Uma, Pain, Astolfo, Naruto, and Zoro. So these are the familiars. You can run a C3 Doctor on Zoro if you want. This bird right here for Naruto, this Fu right here for Astolfo. Nose familiar is very important for our Pain right here. And then this bird right here on Uma. And this bird right here on our Ainz. I'll tell you which memorias are really needed. So Uma does need Enthusiast Walk with Deadeye ideally. If you don't have Enthusiast Walk, you can give Uma Trunks' Memoria because it gives a crit damage, I think. And then I have this Jack of all Enthusiast Walk on our Ainz. To be honest, he doesn't really benefit from it much, so if you just have any Jack of all, just give it to Ainz. Then Pain with his own exclusive Memoria needs Jack of all. And then any Jack of all Memoria for Astolfo. Naruto with his own Memoria, I got Deadeye on it. If you get Divinity, keep it. The difference between Divinity and Deadeye is very small. I think Divinity is slightly better, so yeah. But if you get Deadeye, just keep, because overall it's not really that bad. And then Zoro, I have this pretty much irrelevant. It's just there for no reason whatsoever. So yeah, you run a Jack of all on him, anything you want. And then for Whitebeard, I'm running a Jack of all Enthusiast Walk with a C3 Doctor. So yeah, that's it for the team setup. And yeah, before we get into the video, I'm going to quickly show you how to utilize Ainz's Ghost, because with the ninjutsu team, you're able to get more units than you normally can do, because Ainz's Ghost spawns in a Pain Ghost, and that Pain Ghost can also spawn in clones from his hotbar. So yeah, I'll show you that little clip from my sandbox experience, and yeah, from there, we'll just go into the actual video. Okay, so pretty much as you can see, there's Ainz here, and Ainz has his passive where it spawns a ghost. So we're utilizing that. So let's just say, for instance, Pain is maxed out. He's gonna spawn a unit via the Nose Familiar. So once you sell him, his ghost is also gonna attack, and you can ninjutsu onto the ghost, and you keep doing that. So every time you see the ghost disappear, you just sell Pain and constantly do that. So you'll see, you wait for the ghost to get deleted, you sell him again, you see he spawn more units, and you just click on one of them, and then you have just multiple units like this. And that's how you utilize Ainz's Ghost. So I just wanted to include this little part because I feel like some people do get confused when it's like managing the ninjutsu units. So yeah, I just showed you that little thing. If you guys understand it, I hope it does make sense. But yeah, you can utilize that to pretty much have more units than you normally do have, because it's just a lot of units, you know, it's just extra damage, which is nice. But yeah, in terms of this setup, it should be very easy to do. There's no struggle at all. And yeah, so we're gonna be placing our Pain in our optimal spot, and we're gonna be just auto upgrading him. We're gonna be using him and getting him maxed out. So yeah, we're just gonna be max upgrading him, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, early game should be very easy up until like wave 28 or 29. That's when it gets slightly, you have to focus, but yeah, not much you can really do. It's just very boring, you know. So yeah, for the whole strat, it's just the same shit all over again. Just spamming this Kurama attack. You can just hold your left click, and you should just constantly attack. I'm placing Ainz down just here in case we do need this ghost, and pretty much he has no spells except for Aura of Despair. You can just use Aura of Despair, it's just a fully AoE attack, so might as well just utilize it. one thing that you have to make sure you keep doing is your Uma stats is one thing that's very important. It's very tedious, but her damage adds up in the long run. She, like, once you get her to her champion state, world champion, he basically carries the run. Yes, I do know Pain and Naruto is doing a lot of damage, but she's also doing a lot of damage. She does like pretty much like 200 billion by herself, which is still crazy, you know, for a unit that dropped in like 9.5, you know, she's having like crazy usage. She's still a top DPS in terms of late game. But you don't have to worry about placing your Zoros up front. You wanna regen farm slightly, I guess. You just wanna let them regen, doesn't really matter. They won't really leak that much because it's just, they're very weak right now, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm just holding left click, making sure I do my Uma stats, that's all I have to do. That's all it is, and yeah, it's very easy. And yeah, because of the amount of yen this map gives, we don't need a farm. All our units should be able to be maxed out perfectly. And yeah, now we place our Stolfo and make sure we can use the Hippogriff, making sure we're getting a Stolfo's passive up. It needs to go past like 40 enemies with it, and you get the full 20% damage plus the 10% range. And whoever we give spellbook to gets double that, so yeah, it's just pretty nice to have. And yeah, here I'm just pretty much just letting them live, not trying to attack them too much, just so they can regen and revitalize. Don't want to do too much damage. Just want to do enough to the point where they can revitalize each other. And yeah, just keep hippogriffing Astolfo correctly, and yeah, I think there was 38 enemies in that one, so with the first and second one, that should be enough to fully max out his passive. And yeah, wave 20 boss, he's not hard at all. I do let him revitalize a lot, so he does get quite far, but doesn't really matter. I kinda did play it slightly bad, but you know, it's all good. If you wanna deal with this boss very early on, you can just place a Zoro and let the boss have bleed on him. So yeah, here you can see gonna be regenning a lot. And right now I'm not too worried about him. He does leak quite a bit for me, but you know, things are fine. I should have placed a Zoro right here, but I forgot he just regens passively, so yeah. Yeah, but it's all good. We did get a bit of damage, extra damage from him, I guess. So yeah, we'll kill him off around this point, and once we kill him off, we'll turn auto skip off and just make sure we deal with the enemies who are slowly creeping up as well. So I'll kill him, turn off my auto skip, and yeah, just deal with these guys. Since Pain is going to be attacking like consistently, it should be fine. And at this point I do max my Uma just to make sure she's helping out. Because we don't want these guys to be pushing us this far back, this early on. So yeah, I'm just making sure I pay attention to my Uma stats and keep slowly pushing forward. And yeah, eventually we'll just get back to the front. As you can see, it was not too bad, it wasn't too hard as well. And yeah, we're already back here at this point, and yeah, you can see just dealing with these guys is very easy. So yeah, I could turn auto skip back on here. I think I do soon. Yeah, move my irons into his optimal spot. I do max him out. He doesn't do much damage, just like 7 billion or 6 billion, so it's not too much. But yeah, damage is damage, you can't complain. I did make one mistake, so I'm going to point it out right now. Late game, I do max my irons at the back. I want you guys to not do that and only max out your pain. You don't need to max irons at the back. So here, I'm making sure I hippogriff a Stoleful into his optimal spot. I give the spellbook to my Uma. And yeah, we're just waiting for the wave 30 boss. Because this is where things get slightly difficult in terms of, I guess, micromanaging a bit. Because wave 30 boss has a 1 billion HP, so he causes us to leak a lot of enemies. And pushes us back very far. So yeah, at this point I do caloric my white bid in. I place him right around here. We want him for his overshot take removal because you can see these buoys are starting to move slightly fast. They're getting very annoying. So yeah, just want to make sure that overshot is getting taken care with and they're not really pushing us back any further. And yeah, that's the first point. I started utilizing the Iron's Ghost for pain. So just gonna be keep selling and replacing pain onto the little clones he spawns in, and you can see there's a lot of units right there. It's probably like a good like 10 to 12 Narutos, so yeah, it's a lot of damage. And it's very useful in terms of dealing with clumps of enemies and even bosses as well. And yeah, at this point we can, I didn't really max it, but I put my white bit to full AoE and should be covering a lot of enemies. And I place Zoras, 3 Zoras around so the boss does not revitalize at all. Because Zora has a 10-second bleed, so it's very useful. And here I did make a mistake in terms of not uh, hovering over Stolford's ability very early on. But yeah, boss spawns around like 16ish and yeah, you use the spear on him. And yeah, from here you want to be making sure you're utilizing Ainz's Ghost. And doing as much damage to this boss as possible. Follow him from the front to the back and you just keep hitting him on Naruto. The Kurama mode. And yeah, since the way I was doing them, I did not really move my units slightly back. So yeah, I did make a mistake in that part. So yeah, from this point, I just had to follow the boss myself. I made sure to turn auto skip waves off because I don't want any enemies spawning in, like a clump of enemies, because it will make things more difficult. So yeah, at this point, you should be killing it off very soon because you'll constantly get into Kurama mode. The one mistake, I guess, at this point, I could have turned auto skip on. I didn't need to have it off for too long. So yeah, you don't have to do it exactly like me. But yeah, this boss should die off and you kill the mobs and you slowly creep back forward. But because of how strong these mobs are now, you're not really creeping as far forward as you want. But one thing you have to make sure you do is your Uma stats. You have to keep following your Uma stats and making sure she gets maxed out. And you see me do it a few times. I do utilize Ghost for Irons, but a lot of the time I'm not doing it because it's just very annoying to micromanage. There's not really a way to, like, I mean, I wouldn't say there's a way, but it's not really optimal, you know? In terms of, like, it's just not fun to do, you know? Because you have to, like, look down there, click intricately, and yeah, just keep doing that consistently. But yeah, since Pain is constantly attacking, we should always be in Kurama mode, like, 80% of the time, so yeah, it's fine. See, I'm trying to creep forward, but it's pretty much impossible because there are times where they revitalize as well, so yeah. That's the one annoying thing as well, so yeah, we're farming a bit of damage from the revitalize and also just farming damage. See, I put my spellbook on my Uma right there if you didn't see. And yeah, they're pushing me back so far, you can see. So I'm pretty much just stuck here at this point. One thing I should have done, and which I didn't do, was I should have moved my irons back here and my pain back here. But the mistake I did do later on is I maxed my irons before my pain. So yeah, you want to be maxing your pain first when you move it back. And you want to keep doing your Uma stats. You want to get her maxed out as soon as possible. Ideally wave 37. If wave 38 is fine. Wave 39 is like the latest. But yeah, you can see for me it's at wave 38, but it's not too bad. So yeah, now I click skip and quickly do my Uma. Once she's maxed there, she's going to be getting us a lot of damage. Plus helping us out a lot. So yeah, this is, I'm pretty sure soon enough here is where I moved my irons and it was a big mistake. Make sure you don't max the irons. I've said it a few times just to make sure you guys follow exactly what I do. But not make the same mistakes. You don't want to be maxing irons at the back. So yeah, don't max him, move your pain instead. And max your pain. See, I was gonna move him but I realized I had no yen, so yeah. So you're gonna be moving your pain at the back instead of irons. I mean, you move both of them, but don't max your irons. And yeah, here you just keep clicking and clicking. You're gonna have auto skip on because you just need a lot of enemies to pour in and you get a lot of enemies stacked up at the back. And yeah, ideally you should die to the boss. If you die to the mobs, it's kind of chuddy, but yeah. I do use my spear at this point just to get, I guess, some souls in. So they'll just take damage passively and I can get more damage off of these mobs. So yeah, the boss does one. He has 2 billion HP, we're not killing this at all. So yeah, nothing we can do about it. And yeah, I do move my pain, but I was one upgrade off maxing him, which is an issue. So yeah, I had him auto upgrade, and yeah, I was just making sure that I do utilize the ghost when I had him maxed. But yeah, that's the mistake I did make. So yeah, don't make the same mistake as me, and you're fine. Oh yeah, at this point I did notice the boss was very close to the end, so I just sprinted to the front with Kurama and made sure to attack the enemies that was just spawning in, since they are very stronger. And yeah, so I can hit a lot more enemies here. So that was it for the strat. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.